Hi there, and welcome to this first video in my Devlog series. In this series, I want to showcase what I've been doing with my project and kind of build a community around it if possible. And with this first video, I'm going to be talking about a few things as an introduction to it. I'm going to be discussing the goals and inspiration for this project for me, what I've been doing up until now for it, and what is next. So yeah, let's jump into it. So first up is the goal of the project. The idea is that whenever you start a new character, you start a new adventure. This means that a new terrain will be generated, a new city will be generated, points of interest will be randomly scattered around the map, quest lines will be either altered or also generated, providing a completely new adventure for the player each time. Inspirations for the project for me have been Daggerfall, specifically, the Souls series, and maybe surprisingly, Freddy Fish, for whoever still knows those games. Daggerfall, I guess, for the obvious reasons. Daggerfall, in my opinion, provides a real adventure, a lot of options to play out your adventure, and that's what I want to provide with this game. Give that sense of adventure, give the tools to achieve that. Yeah, big inspiration in that sense. Soul series more for the action. I love the Soul series. I've been hooked since Dark Souls 1. That's what I see my game using as its underlying combat system, something close to that. So big inspiration there as well. And Freddy Fish, for the people who don't know that series, it's a children's series made by Hasbro Games, I believe. The gist of it is that every time you start a new game with Freddy Fish, the storyline is altered a little bit. Sometimes one character is the bad guy, sometimes the other. So you have to do different puzzles sometimes. It just makes every game interesting again, and that always stuck with me. So that's definitely inspiration here as well. So what has already been made? First things first, I think, is the terrain generation. What we have right now is a terrain that's being generated in the shape of an island. On that terrain, we have a city that's being placed randomly and also points of interest. Between those points of interest and the city, paths are being generated, all height adjusted to it, of course. Also, we have nature being generated, so trees, vegetation, stuff like that. And something I'm actually working on right now is also NPC and animal placement on the terrain. City generation is next. Every city is technically random. Currently, they do have roughly the same template, however. The city hall is generated in the middle, and then 4 paths leading from the city hall to the edges of the city. I am still working on creating different templates. Also, gonna be working with height, because right now every city is just flat, and that's a little bit too boring. So in the future, cities will have different templates and height difference. I'm saying templates, but with that I mean just path placement and city hall placement. Maybe the church. All the other buildings are randomly placed within the city. Going more and more into detail, next up is the building generation. Buildings themselves are also generated from templates. You can see that on screen right now. They're just building blocks with doors, windows, and staircases appointed. Doors and windows can be random. The building itself will get a value assigned saying this building can contain 4 windows, but I might have given the template 6 windows, so it will choose from those 6 which 4 will be used. Furniture within the buildings are always randomly placed. The architecture of the building is generated. You can see that right now on the screen as well. There are different styles for that can happen. Also with material, but also in actual shapes and sizes of the buildings. And the last big thing I've been working on are NPCs and quests. Currently, only cities have NPCs that you can interact with. I'm working on spawning NPCs and animals on the open world terrain, like I said before. But the actual interactable NPCs currently only spawn in the city. I do have a start of a quest generation system as well, but I'm revising that constantly. So in a few weeks that will probably be different again. But here you can see it in action. You can walk up to quest givers currently. They will kind of guide you towards the people you have to interact with. But yeah, that's what I have for now. So what is next? Of course, what I just pointed out that I already have, or all still has to be improved, adjusted, revised. But apart from those things, there are two things that I haven't touched yet that I need to implement still, which are combat and dungeon generation. Luckily, in the past, I've already worked on side projects that had these with the idea of implementing the projects into this project. So there is some code already in the background. I just have to re-import that and get it to work with the main project. But for combat, like I've said before, I'm thinking of a Souls-like combat system. That's what I'm going to be working on next. Combat is up first. And after I've done at least the basics for combat, I'm going to be touching dungeon generation. And the idea is that on the world map, there will be points of interest that are entries to these new dungeons. And then in the dungeons, you should be able to have, be able to spelunk a little bit too. And that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, it was just meant as an introduction to the project for now. That's why I haven't really gone in depth into any of the facets of the project yet. Next devlog video, I'll probably dive more into the terrain generation first, showcase that a little bit, show how I've done that, what I'm working on currently for terrain generation, and ideas for in the future, stuff that I really want in there before the game releases. Yeah. With that said, thank you all for watching the video, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.